Hey guys, it's the Chad, your C10 truck nerd. Well, it just drives me bonkers when people go out and waste their hard-earned money buying the wrong parts for their trucks. And too many vendors out there say these parts will fit a 67 to 72, and that's not always right. So in today's video, I want to go through and talk to you about what gaskets for the front and rear windows of these trucks will fit your truck and the different types of trim. All right, so I'm here at the semashow at the Precision Replacement Part booth, and they've got this gorgeous 1967 C10 in here, built by Tray 5. And the cool thing is, they've got the windshield trim that they've got in here and something special on the backside. So first off, Greg, thanks for letting me be here and you being on the channel and guiding us through this process. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I've been in the automotive glass industry on the replacement side for about 20 years, and I've been with Precision for about 8 years.
So I've watched Greg over the years. He's on a lot of the install videos on YouTube and stuff. So when I'm working on my old trucks, I kind of get the tips and tricks from them, and it has been very handy on that. So don't forget that Precision is out there to guide you through the process as well. So my understanding with these old trucks, and like I said, I hate when people are wasting their hard-earned money and time buying wrong parts, but to me there's 3 different front gaskets for a 67 to 72. Is that correct?
That's correct. In that year span, you'll have our WBL 685, but that is just a black gasket.
So no trim on that one?
No trim on that, no trim groove.
Okay.
Now, the difference with the WCR 685 and the WCR 685A is the chrome trim itself, and that's the locking leg into the gasket. From 67 to about 70 and a half, we classify it as 71, that the leg on the back of that chrome is about 5/8 of an inch. It's very noticeable in length, where when 71 and 72 is very short, it's about 1/8 inch long. And those gaskets correspond, they don't interchange, but so you have to have the right one.
At that point, so 67 to 70-ish had the deeper locking mechanism or groove back there, 71, 72. Could I put a 71, 72 gasket and trim in my 67 though? It should interchange, right?
Exactly, because the windshield stays the same and the windshield opening is the same.
My understanding too is the 71, 72, since it's shallower, is a booger to install compared to the deeper 67 to 70s, is that right?
That is correct. Now, the 71 and 72 chrome, the shallow leg, is available aftermarket, where the 60 or the early version is not.
And that I didn't know of until we got to talking out there. So if you have good stainless 67 to 70 or chrome there and it can be salvaged, you may think about doing that, especially if you're doing the installs yourself, because it's not easy. It seems like every time you get going with the shallow stuff, it wants to pop out on you. But I didn't think about it only being a replacement for 71, 72 shallow on that side of it there.
Correct.
So Greg, when it comes to the installation of the gaskets or the gaskets with the trim in there, kind of what's the order? I mean, I've done it with just the gasket itself. It's pretty straightforward. Put it around the glass and then install. But does glass itself have any factor in installs and stuff like that? I know you can buy glass almost anywhere, but going specialized with glass companies is higher quality stuff. Does that matter?
No 2 pieces of glass are the same, and no 2 pieces of glass are created equal. So the best thing to do would be to physically test fit the glass without the gasket in place.
Okay.
Tape off the edge and set it in the opening. See how it's going to actually fit into the opening.
Okay.
And so then remove it from the truck and put it on the rack and proceed.
So like on this, and I'm going to come around to the other side. So with this one here, with the trim, would you put the gasket on the glass, then the trim in, or you put the gasket around the glass, install it, and then the trim? What process is that?
The trim has to go into the gasket before installed into the truck, because that's the locking part about it.
Okay.
So glass onto the rack, gasket onto the glass, and then for the installation portion, you're going to be using a rope. You'd want to put the rope in, because the less movement you have once that chrome is in, the better off you're going to be, so you don't disturb that chrome seating into the gasket. So once the rope is in, then you insert the chrome into that gasket.
So this, I've watched in your video, it's not a one-person job.
No.
Especially with the trim in there. It wants to spring out on you or tape it or do something, right?
That's correct. Yeah, so you really have to watch that chrome while you're putting into the gasket. Make sure it's getting locked into that leg, especially the early versions, the long leg versions.
Okay.
And then as you're installing it, you'd want to do the same thing. You'd want somebody on the outside not only putting pressure on the glass to install it, but to watch that chrome where that rope action is happening to bring that gasket around.
And I've watched some of his tips and tricks, and the video is really good of when you get to the corners, kind of curling things and trying to get it in there, and then obviously having some of your tools.
Right.
You need the tools. It's very difficult without the correct tools, because I've broken a windshield trying to do it without the proper tools. It's almost 90% in, and crack, there it goes on that.
Yeah.
So check out their videos on the installs. It's excellent through there to guide you step by step. I want to talk about the back windows, or the back gaskets now on the back of the truck. So
Correct.
Let's move back there.
Excellent.
So when it came to the rear glass, my understanding was there was 3 different gaskets for the back glass. So this truck here, this Tray 5 built truck, is a 67, so most all of those were small window trucks unless they were ordered or optioned with the panoramic or the big glass. Other than the bigger trucks, the C50, 60s, you could have had a small window all the way through 72 there. But a small window truck, they never had trim, rear trim. It was just a standard gasket, correct?
That's correct. It was just the black gasket for the back window, the small version.
Okay, so then if you had a big window, 67 to 72, at that you could have then elected or ordered to have the chrome or the stainless back trim, correct? And it didn't matter what year.
That's
there was
correct.
only one depth of that.
That's correct. There's only one version of the rear back glass chrome.
Okay. How about a slider? I know there's lots of people that put sliders in there. Is there, when somebody, do they have to pick, like, I've got a rear slider aftermarket that I've put in, or how do you deal with that?
The slider that would have been available from the 67 to 72 version would have been aftermarket. So
Okay.
what happens with the aftermarket units is that they have the aluminum frame for the sliding glass, but they all narrow down to the 1/8 inch. So the standard back glass gasket is used with the sliders.
And I pay attention to detail. The C10 truck nerd picks up on the little things. When I came by and saw this 67, I'm like, I've never seen the rear trim on a small window like that.
Yep.
That's not an option, right?
That is correct. This is a Tray 5 build, so they do a lot of custom touches. So they've taken the larger panoramic window gasket, modified it along with the chrome trim to make it work with the small window application. Very unique.
It looks really good. I'll zoom in here for you guys in a little bit, but it's a classic touch on there, because with everything being so shiny and just having that black gasket there, I mean, this really makes it pop. But that I've never seen. And of course, you got to go to SEMA, or you got to come to Precision to understand, this is not a standard option for this type of truck out here.
Truly a compliment to the windshield.
Yep, it 100% is. So gorgeous truck. So just about the time I think I know everything about a 67 to 72, I come to SEMA and I learn even more, and I have no shame. If I ever get an expert in front of me, I'm glad you were here. I'm glad you answered my questions and took the time to walk us through this truck. So if folks want to order your guys' products, what's the best way for them to do that?
can check for our products at our website, prp.com. You can also look for our products at your favorite distributor. We have a tech support if you have installation questions. We have installation videos also on our YouTube channel.
Precision's all I've ever used on my trucks before. If I'm going specific with glass or weather stripping and all that, I highly encourage you guys to go to the people that specialize in it. And there's tons of vendors or stores out there that will sell you stuff, but it's very hit or miss what you're gonna get. It may be slightly off in size, and then you'll break your glass and regret a lot of those issues. You can be avoided just by checking out Precision right away. Well, Greg, I appreciate you giving me all of your knowledge, everybody out there, so definitely check out their installation videos out there. A big shout out to Precision and Trey 5 for letting me use this as the backdrop out there. And if you guys haven't, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and check out my other 67 to 72 videos as well. Well, I appreciate your time, and thanks for watching. We both in?
Yeah, you look beautiful.
Thank you, Jeff Gow.
I can edit myself to looking as good as him in a minute, so.